The Dreamer of Turin, The Life and Legacy of St. John Bosco, A Boy with a Dream. The stars twinkled over the small village of Becchi, Italy, on the night of August 16, 1815, when a little boy named Giovanni Bosco was born into a world of hardship. The Bosco family was poor, so poor that they often went to bed hungry. But what they lacked in wealth, they made up for in love, faith, and resilience. John's father, Francesco, was a hard-working farmer, but tragedy struck early. When John was just 2 years old, Francesco caught pneumonia and died, leaving his wife, Margaret Bosco, alone to raise their 3 sons. Life was harsh. Margaret worked the fields with her children, doing everything she could to keep them fed. But John was different. Even in their poverty, he dreamed of something greater. And then came the dream that would change everything. The mysterious dream. John was 9 years old when he had his first strange vision. In his dream, he was standing in a vast field, surrounded by wild boys who were shouting, fighting, and cursing. He ran toward them, trying to stop them with his fists. But suddenly, a brilliant figure appeared. A man shining with light, his face full of love. "Not with blows, John, but with kindness and love," the man said. Then, beside him, a woman appeared, a lady dressed in white. She looked at John with gentle eyes and spoke. "Make yourself humble, strong, and full of love. In time, you will understand everything." John woke up trembling. What did it mean? Who was this man? Who was the woman? He told his mother, and she simply smiled. "Perhaps one day, my son, you will be a priest for poor boys." John didn't know it yet, but she was right. A struggle for knowledge. John's heart burned with a desire to study and become a priest, but his family was too poor to afford schooling. While other children went to school, John worked as a farmer, tailor, and shepherd, anything to help his mother. But he didn't give up. Every night, after long hours of work, he taught himself to read and write by candlelight. When he was 15, he left home to seek an education, working as a carpenter, a baker, and even a waiter. Whatever it took to pay for his schooling. Finally, in 1841, at the age of 26, he was ordained a priest. He was now Don Bosco, Father Bosco. But his real work was just beginning. The Street Boys of Turin. The city of Turin was not a kind place for children. Young boys, orphaned, abandoned, or forced into labor, roamed the streets, cold and hungry. Many ended up in prison before they were even teenagers. Don Bosco saw them. One day, inside a church, he met a poor orphan boy named Bartolomeo Garelli. The boy had just been beaten and thrown out by another priest for not knowing how to serve Mass properly. Instead of scolding him, Don Bosco smiled. "Would you like to learn?" he asked. Bartolomeo nodded. And so, Don Bosco taught him a simple prayer, a kind word, a little hope. The next day, Bartolomeo brought 2 friends. The day after, there were 10. Soon, Don Bosco was surrounded by hundreds of boys, wild, untamed, desperate for love. He played with them, taught them, listened to them, and they changed. A home for the forgotten. Don Bosco found an abandoned building and turned it into an oratory, a place where the boys could learn, pray, and play. He created a new system, the preventive system, which was revolutionary at the time. Instead of using punishment, Don Bosco believed in reason, helping the boys understand right from wrong; religion, strengthening their faith in God; loving kindness, treating them as his own sons. The boys flourished, but not everyone approved. Many hated Don Bosco, calling him dangerous. He was even attacked multiple times. Once, a man tried to stab him, but a mysterious gray dog, Grigio, appeared and scared the attacker away. The dog, which no one had ever seen before, would appear whenever Don Bosco was in danger, and then vanish. Some say it was a guardian angel in disguise. Miracles and wonders. Many miracles surrounded Don Bosco's life. One winter, during a feast, 300 hungry boys sat down for dinner. The food ran out. Don Bosco prayed over the empty basket, and when he reached inside, the bread multiplied. Every boy ate until they were full. There were also stories of him healing the sick, predicting events, and even reading people's souls. People began to realize this was no ordinary man. The Salesians, a worldwide family. By 1859, Don Bosco founded the Salesian order, named after St. Francis de Sales. With the help of his mother, Margaret, he built schools, workshops, and homes for boys across Italy, France, Spain, and even South America. His mission was simple: give me souls, take away the rest. By the time he was an old man, Don Bosco's work had spread all over the world. The Last Goodbye. In January 1888, Don Bosco, now frail and weak, lay in his bed, surrounded by his boys. He had given everything, his time, his health, his very life, to save the lost children of the world. Before he closed his eyes for the last time, he whispered, "Tell my boys that I am waiting for them in heaven." And with that, he passed into eternity. The saint who never stopped loving. In 1934, Pope Pius XI declared Don Bosco a saint. Today, the Salesians continue his work in over 130 countries, running schools, orphanages, and missions for poor children. His message remains simple: love the young. Be joyful in serving God. Never lose hope. Even today, many believe that if you pray to Don Bosco, he still watches over children and the forgotten. Perhaps, somewhere in heaven, he is still waiting for his boys, just as he promised. Do good while you still have time. St. John Bosco. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.